You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds. Nerds!
Welcome back, everybody, to Nerds Pod. Woo! As we start to talk about Daredevil Born Again, the season finale, episode 9. That's Pete. That's Pooba. And it's your boy Cole, the kid at heart. And we're about to review the season. Not only the episode, but the entire season of Daredevil Born Again. We're going to go through our highs and lows. We are going to break down this episode, and then later on in this show, we're going to end up breaking down the entire season and what we look forward to coming up soon, knowing that there is going to be a season 2. So now, usually finales, I want to start off with my opening where usually finales make me feel fulfilled and done. I didn't feel like that with the entire season. Usually there's a beginning, middle, and end. I felt like it left me right in the middle of where I needed to be with Daredevil Born Again. I think I went into this with the sense that they were just going to continue to fulfill everything from the Netflix series. Because if you go back to the Netflix series, I felt like those, each season ended up becoming something where there was a beginning, a middle, an end, and then you go to the next season and so on and so forth. With this, giving me the finale, I felt like the season just started for me. But let's go to Pooba. Hey, Pooba, what do you think about the finale overall?
You know, when I look at the finale, it felt like the first episode and the last 2 episodes is all we needed for this kind of season, in a sense, where the directors of the first episode and the directors of the last 2 episodes were the same, and they connected those dots. I asked early in these shows of ours, like, what's going on with Red Hook? I was fulfilled there. I was fulfilled with the death of Foggy, kind of really understanding why he was shot and what they were going after, why they went after him. Understanding Mayor Fisk now turning into Mayor Kingpin. Those things kind of fulfilled me as well. I do like the direction that they took, bringing his character that we see in the comic books with the white suits to bring it out. The Daredevil suit, again, we see it. Bringing in Frank Castle. I think the whole thing was good. And yes, I was left with wanting more, but I also remember that that's the reason why I watched this. I don't really want to ever see this end, of course, because I just love comic books and comic book shows and movies as a whole, especially when they're done good. And this was done good. I still stand that I think that this was the best Marvel show in a sense of a series, because I paid attention more than I've ever had before. Maybe the whole Matt thing kind of sticks in my head, and I'm like, I gotta listen more, I gotta smell more, I gotta taste more. So I want to become Matt Murdock in a sense without the blindness. But I was okay with it all. I enjoyed it. I think it all made sense. It was a slow burn through the middle part of this season, but I think they fulfilled it. They fulfilled our question, right? All the questions that we had when we first started this show on a weekly basis. A lot of the questions that we had: what's going on with Fisk and Vanessa? What's going on with Matt Murdock and his head? With Karen, where's that all going through? Where the hell is Punisher? We were teased with Punisher. Where is he? We got a fulfillment of that. Fisk wearing the gray, kind of working within the gray, but then he leans over to be Kingpin, who we remembered in those prior season episodes on Netflix. So I was okay with it because they answered all the questions that I particularly had for the show. So they did a really good job of it. I wasn't happy about the ending at Josie's, and I know we'll get into that. I would hope we get into that because that didn't make any sense to me at all. But I get with the whole thing, us army thing at the end, the whole thing needed an army at the end leads us to wonder a big, big, big season two. I've always said it, telling a story, whether it was the Incredible Hulk, those first movies didn't really jive well because, and again, the early Iron Mans as well. I think having to tell that story sometimes doesn't always come out as exciting. So they had to kind of tell this story of where they're at today. I think they did a good job of telling the story and giving us a great thing for season two to come out. I enjoyed this ride. I'm happy they made this series. I'm happy they brought it back. I think the fans have spoken and this show has done well for itself, especially for Disney. So I think we're going to see a couple of seasons out of this, hopefully, because it is exciting. It is tantalizing. It is wondering where the hell have you going sometimes. But that's New York City in its whole self sometimes. It consumes you. I enjoyed it.
That's awesome, man. I feel like with this show, it's like go to a restaurant and it's a recommended restaurant. You know, they have good service, good food. And when I ordered in the menu, it wasn't that good for me. It left, I felt like I'm missing something when it came to the entire season. You're right. This last episode did answer a lot of questions and tied everything up. And I do like the fact that they worked on using what happened in season 3 of Daredevil. For those that didn't, I keep telling myself, maybe this is for those that never seen the Daredevil series on Netflix. And it's an introduction to Daredevil. So if I see it like that, I think it was done very well overall. But truth be told, me being a comic book head like you, my friend, it just left me just really, really wanting for more. And I left that restaurant hungry, if I should say. Pete, the world wants to know, what is your take on the finale of this show?
Finally got it. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't have the same like feeling that you guys have wanting more. I I felt like they finally bought me my plate. Like, I've been starving and now I'm gonna knock this out right now. Um, got Frank Castle, got them teaming up together. Kingpin hitting a fatality on freaking Commissioner. Like, yo, I don't know.
I was like, just shoot him already.
I don't know how you guys are left wanting more. And I get it because the tease at the end is setting up, I think, what we all are kind of expecting and hoping. If Marvel doesn't deliver on that, they're dropping the ball because it's a perfect setup for that, which we already know. But yeah, yep. No, do you want dessert? No, thanks. Because I'm good because I got everything that I wanted in that episode. Kingpin, like you said, going back to Mayor Kingpin in a big way, in a big way, and getting Frank Castle back and having Daredevil and him kicking ass. Like, basically, you know what I mean? It's eye candy, you know what I mean? But and going back on what Pooba said, it seemed like a patchwork series. It doesn't make sense to me why they have different directors for different episodes. Do it like you see how Marvel did with the Russos. Winter Soldier, Civil War, Avengers, Endgame, and Avengers Infinity War. Because it worked. It worked. Do the same. Have the same director for the entire series. I don't understand going back and forth because you saw which ones kind of stuck out, the differences in directing styles. So again, overall, series was good. I didn't think it was, oh, what the hell am I watching? Especially with that finale and even last week's where they left us with the
Cliffhanger?
with the cliffhanger. Yeah, him taking the bullet for Fisk. But nah, man, I'm good. Especially with the finale.
Did you guys watch the post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay,
we'll
just
get
to make
into
sure.
that,
Just to make sure.
of course. Let's
Can't help
stick to
himself.
that.
Can't help himself.
Yeah, I know. He's very excited, fellas, and can you blame him? This is why we love Puba so much. I mean, he just goes right into it. He has so much thoughts and he's ready to just, spread the love and the word of what's going on with this. Let's stick to the kitchen metaphors. Too many soups in the kitchen. I mean, too many chefs in the kitchen. Given the fact that that's how come my plate was mediocre at best. It was okay. It wasn't as great. While I'm looking at other customers having plates and enjoying their plates, so that's fine, and I'm happy that it's succeeding because I've always want more. I'm a guy that always gives anything a chance. Even if all the critics, all the fans say, "Oh my gosh, this is the worst movie, the worst show ever," I would still give it a shot. But for me, I left out of there so hungry because, like Puba said, that Josie part just left me like, I need more. I want to see more and I need to get into more. But let's start breaking down this episode right here. So, Puba, Bullseye is back. And how dope was it that you see the crosshairs in the eyes mimicking his uniform, right? Like, um, can you wait to see? We know that Bullseye is out there, he's still on the loose. Do you think they're gonna give him a costume finally and he's gonna be comic book accurate?
If they put him in the suit that he had on when he killed Foggy, I'm okay with that. I don't. I think he had the insignia of the bullseye on his hands. And he rocks it pretty good. So I don't need the insignia. Hopefully they keep him in that same costume. I think he looked dope. I think he looked amazing in that costume. But I agree with you. I love how they gave us Poindexter's point of view right from the jump. And the start of the episode took us exactly we were seeing his point of view. We saw that he scanned Vanessa, like we saw he scanned Vanessa on the scope, and he just kind of kept on going. But I think when he went for Fisk, there was some old beef there. Like if you remember, Fisk killed his girlfriend or the girl he was his
That's
love
right.
interest in the prior one. So I think Bullseye, was exactly aiming for Fisk, not only because of the fact that Fisk tried to get him killed going into Gen Pop, but he went after Fisk because there was a little bit of revenge there as well. So I love that they took us there. I got that feeling from it. And I know for a fact that that he was going to try to kill Fisk right there when I saw it in that scene. Again, we see Matt again jump in. I love the beginning of that. I love that they took us right there because they left us off with that. Oh my God, what did he did? Why did he do that? How did he survive? Is he dead? Is he alive? So many questions, and they took us right to that spot to start off the show. Great job on their part.
I think that was wonderful too. I don't know, last episode in the Nerds Pod when we broke down episode 8, I was talking about like Vanessa being the most evil one out of the two couples between Vanessa and Kingpin. She's really no joke. How they started to talk about um, when Kingpin was missing. That's during the Echo series, and he got shot by Echo, and he wasn't around. I like that they tied everything in, and they used the Echo MCU series, and they also used the Netflix series to bring everything together. So I think that was really good. I know Pete is super excited that Bullseye is still around, and can't wait to see what's going on. Yo, Pete, Kingpin is at his best right now. Um, so he started talking about shutting down the city and creating martial law. Um, with Kingpin, uh, do you feel that they got it right? Comic
Always.
book accuracy.
Always.
And
Always. Yeah, I felt like that since they announced him and we first saw him in the Netflix series. It's one of the ones that it's a home run. Baseball reference. It was a home run. It was a home run and look, you think about all the characters they've cast in their movies and their shows. This one to me is one of their best, and um, he's got a lot of range where you've seen him in different. And look, he's even changing his voice playing Fisk. That's not his regular voice. I think he's just a great actor, and he's definitely one of the. Like I've said this before, he's one of the best castings that they've got, and along with Frank Castle as well. Frank Castle is another one that they've gotten right. Like can't really see anybody else playing Frank Castle. Can't see anybody else playing Kingpin, and it sucks that we're kind of as fans we have to kind of deal with the fact that the two studios aren't on the same page. Sony kind of holds the rights. They have some say in what Kingpin can be in and what he can't be in. So we probably won't see Kingpin and Spider-Man together, which sucks. But it is what it is. But as far as your question goes, nah, Kingpin is one of the best that's out there. One of my favorites.
You think it's important that they make sure that they try to keep it as close as possible to the comic books, or is it okay to veer off and create new characters or give them different personalities?
No, I prefer that they and listen. I know a lot of it can't translate from the comics over to live action. It's not gonna be. He's not gonna be some big old beast man like we see him drawn in the comics and in the Spider-Man animated series. He was massive. We're not gonna see him like that. But live action, this is they nailed it. They nailed it. Because is he a big guy? Yeah. Does he have strength like Kingpin is known to have? They've shown that on occasion, and also they showed it in the finale as well. Nah, he's great in the role, and yeah, couldn't see anybody else doing him. I did read one thing this week. They asked him who in DC he would like to play. He said Swamp Thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, very. But D'Onofrio, good with me.
I'm a Swamp Thing fanatic. I like Swamp Thing, so I can see it with the CGI and everything going
Yep,
on.
that's who he had. That was his answer. Swamp Thing.
Yo, Booba, the hospital scene. Matt gets out of unconsciousness and says Karen.
Huh.
Just jumps on and says Karen right away. You think the psychiatrist had a right to be upset and go with Kingpin, or is it because of her book and she really feels that vigilantes are a menace to society?
So, I'm gonna tell you that my wife was sitting next to me when I was watching this scene, and she looked over at me and she was like, "Don't you ever do that? Like, you can never do that if you ever wake up out of a hospital bed, right? Call an ex or past love
or true love."
right? And I'm just saying, I would say her name, of course, if it was that. But I think that Matt was still in his head about the case because he just had figured out that Vanessa, who had met Bullseye Poindexter at the place that he was at, letting him out because there was a loophole about the Red Hook situation, about the federal agents and things of that nature. I think he was in his head still about the case, and the only person that would kind of have a closure, because again he can't read the words on a piece of paper, because I think he said it in the episode, I need you to be my eyes. So I think what he was I think he was thinking about the case, and that's why he said Karen. I don't think he met Karen as a love interest when he woke up, or Heather. I think he's in his head. Remember, he knew that Vanessa was the one who planned Foggy's death. Boom, he gets shot. In his head, he's spinning this head. He wakes up. Karen can get me and get me that file that I need. I think that's where his head was at. I don't think it was about a love interest, things of that nature. Believe me, I was like, ooh, any guy, any bro code would be like, what are you doing? Like, don't do this to
that relationship's over.
Yeah, like, dude, what are you doing? Bad form on your part.
So Puma, we've been wanting the psychiatrist's head for a long time now throughout this whole series.
At all. I'm done with her. Yeah, I'm done with Heather.
Absolutely.
I'm done with Heather.
Dude,
because I'm sorry, go ahead, Cole. I apologize.
No, it's cool. I just wanted to ask you. So where's Heather's part in all of this?
I don't want to see her anymore. I kind of hope that Muse killed her now because I'm tired of Heather, her opinion on the matters of the conversation about vigilantes and heroes and masks. And it's as if it's my opinion and your opinion doesn't matter. I'm the psychiatrist. I'm the smartest from the room. I'm smart. You're stupid. She comes off that way. And it's so annoying. I'm tired of Heather. At the end, we get the spinoff in the sense of where she's at in her space, still stupid enough to believe that Fisk is interested in her psychiatry, coming up with a position that of course suits the narrative about vigilantes being bad, because if the head doctor of New York City says that this is bad for New York City, which she already has said, it supports Fisk's kind of agenda. But I'm tired of her. I need someone to kill her already, if that's okay.
But we're gonna stick to the hospital scene, right? So Kingpin shuts down the city because he wants chaos, right? And he sends Buck. You think Buck knows that Matt is Daredevil?
You're asking me or Pete?
I'm asking you, Pooba. I'm sticking to the
I'm
hospital scene.
confused with it. I'm gonna say that I'm confused with it because he makes a comment about live vigilantes versus dead heroes. He makes a comment about that. And obviously he's telling Buck that we're gonna have to kill Matt Murdock because right? But then he comes in, he's wearing a watch that at this point Matt can detect that it's him. He did the same thing with Wesley in the prior episodes. So he kind of has this thing about that the lead henchman for Fisk, I guess.
Yeah.
But he comes out with this needle, and I don't know if the blackout was made to be a distraction to Matt Murdock to be able to kill him.
I would think so. Or
was it just to create the chaos so that he can kill Gallo?
No, because Buck looked at his watch, waiting for that blackout so he could walk into the room and silence Matt. That's my theory.
To shut off a whole city lights just to kill Daredevil or Matt Murdock in this case, right?
And a bigger agenda, he wanted the city to be in chaos as well.
Right, yeah. So again, right, two birds with one stone, I guess. But yeah, no, I don't know. I can't be. I can tell you that it seemed like he did because of the conversation, like I said, about the live vigilante versus a dead hero, because that was directly at Buck.
Yeah.
And then Buck does what he has to do to kill Matt Murdock. So he has to know, but he acted like he didn't know. Like that whole needle thing. I guess you thought Matt was still unconscious. But again, these guys are so connected that they would know that he woke up.
They tried to get Matt with a needle in previous episodes as well, which it doesn't work, guys. To get Matt, you're gonna have to come through in a different way. Pete. So Matt escapes the hospital. He goes home, and look who's there. Frank Castle. Talk to me about the banter between just Frank and Daredevil before the action starts.
We've seen it on the rooftop, and we've seen it earlier in the series. They obviously they don't have the same thought process as far as as it comes to how they go about things. This dude, Matt, is, I don't kill anybody, but I'll beat them within an inch of their life. But this guy just was like, you know what? I'm finishing everybody. I'm not. He said, I'm not here to play patty cake with these cats. And I was like, this guy is awesome, man. Bernthal is awesome, and this even goes back to The Walking Dead. He was my favorite character on The Walking Dead. And this was before he got the role of Punisher. And I remember when they announced it, I think I reached out to you, Pooh, I was like, yo, he's gonna be Punisher. Interesting, very interesting hire for Marvel. And they brought him back, and I like the fact that he almost didn't come back because he didn't like the way what they had written. And that's why it's kind of pieced together, because they came back for reshoots. So I'm glad that he's he's true to the character because he really does a great job. But the banter with them, they have great chemistry. And again, we've seen it a couple times already, and we'll see it some more. We'll definitely see it some more because it's good. It's good TV. It's good TV to see these guys together, and they're feeding off each other. It is, and the same can be said for Kingpin and Murdoch as well when they were in the diner when they were talking. So all around, again, yeah.
Frank said that he had a new uniform on.
Oh, Nightgown Man.
Oh my gosh, that had me on the floor. I love
You
that.
say you're gonna go out with your ass hanging out?
That was so cool. I love the way Frank just keeps it real with
Yep.
Matt. He keeps it 100% real. Or should I say red? I still love that he calls him red. And
I hope he
only
never
him
calls him
calls
Daredevil or Matt. I hope he always calls him Red.
that. I'm with you on that, Pooh, but that is for damn sure.
Talking
So
about that banter real quickly. I'm sorry to cut you off, Cole,
no,
but
put me on.
there was a point where Matt says, "You got a cut and a shave just for me,"
Yes.
and realizing it later during a later scene, he actually got shaved and did the aftershave and the cut to impress Karen. So I realized that when he said, "Did you get like all cute for me?" It wasn't about Matt. It was because Karen had hollered at him and he knew Karen was coming in town. So he said, "Let me go to the barbershop. Let me get a cut.
Yeah.
Let me look good.
Yeah.
Put the aftershave on." But I didn't realize it until after I watched it the second time, because I watched the episode twice already, that was the reason why he was wearing that, as much as he's a tough guy, he wanted to smell and look good for Karen too.
Because he has this connection with Karen. Karen actually cares about what he went through. If you guys go back to the Punisher Netflix series, you can see that Karen was involved in that show, and you can see the connection that they grow. He definitely has something with her, and he likes her. And they end up talking about that, which I think is so cool. Foggy, in previous episodes, when he finally realized that Matt was Daredevil, he knew. He asked him. He said, "Yo, you always, when I'm lying and stuff like that." I like that they addressed how Karen was like, "Oh, so my heart beats when there's a love interest," and I kind of like the way they explained that. I thought that was really, really cool with both of them. So let's get to it, guys. The fighting scene by far is just absolutely amazing. I do admire a lot the way they have Daredevil moving in the MCU than they did in Netflix. Netflix was more grounded, which I can totally understand, but here is way more comic book accurate. So now Daredevil comes down and there is a fight. Let's go scene by scene. Daredevil comes down, crashes in, and uses the Billy Club. You notice Daredevil's not killing no one, and Punisher's going hard as a mother, as the Punisher should. Let's start with Pete. Pete, what was your favorite scene what was your favorite part in that scene? In the whole fighting scene?
He said it. Not here to play patty cake with these dudes. Uh,
And I meant like action wise.
yeah, no, I know that. But like going off of what you said, like, yeah, when he was behind the wall and just lit the dude up on the other side. As far but to go off what you said, as far as it's more, you like the way he's moving in this series than he was in the Netflix series. They explained that it was budget. It was budget. They didn't have the budget to have him moving with the Billy Club swinging and stuff like that in Netflix that they do in Disney. But the favorite part of the apartment scene was Castle behind the wall and just letting off a couple and finishing the guy behind the wall.
I think he was trying to aim for Cold North and he missed. He got the other guy, but he was definitely going for Cold North. because we finally got to understand that Cold North was the guy that murdered
White Tiger.
Hector Ayala, aka White Tiger. Puba, what was your favorite action scene in that apartment?
That's hard. That's like asking me what my favorite candy bar is, man. That's a tough question.
Yeah.
I was already wild when you asked Pete. I mean, there's the initial scene when you see Frank outside that window door and blast that guy in the head, and you see the hole that the guy had. And then there was a scene where Daredevil had headbutt someone and then used a wire on the Billy Club to choke him out. I thought that was fire. But I have to admit that the scene that I remember the most out of that was when he had the guy pinned against the counter and all you saw the bullets go through the wood.
Yeah.
I think it's great because it's Disney and they don't want to show the gore and the blood, Cole. So I know you love that portion of it.
I don't.
Show that, to have that scene and show the brutalness of Punisher, that to me was the wow moment for me. And I'm like, because he wasn't putting one bullet through these guys. He was doing multiple bullets through them. Again, there was another scene where he grabbed the shield, went through the shield, and plugged the guy as well. So he was simply aware of what's going on.
That's a different fight scene.
Yeah. So I think the one scene that I talked about is that he put his head on the counter and started shooting through the damn counter.
That one, yeah. That was pretty cool.
The cake for me. That was
wow. I don't know what it is, but with the Punisher, I'm okay with the gore. I think he gets a pass on this.
Hypocrita!
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nah, I'm not a hypocrite when it comes to that. No, because when you watch like shows of Invincible or Boys, they exaggerate things. Now, let me be clear about this. Just because you curse and show blood doesn't mean your show is good. See, like I like the White Tiger scene. There's hardly any blood going on there. And it was a great scene, a great show. So I don't need gore and cursing or anything vulgar for me to say, hey, wow, this is great. The Punisher came out in 2005, a game called The Punisher for PlayStation 2. Talk about gory. That was very gory. And it was so cool because you were able to decide how you want to interrogate your enemies.
Great game. Great game.
So if you go too far, you can accidentally kill them.
Yes.
And then you won't get the information that you need. Again, I personally believe there are heroes and things that can that get a pass. The Punisher gets a pass. If I see Spider-Man doing it, I'm not digging that. If I see Thor killing, it's not cool. Or Captain America. I think you're going too far, especially like U.S. Agent. When U.S. Agent ended up killing
not innocent person.
Yes. Not cool. Not cool at all. When I saw the blood on the shield, not cool. Not cool at all, and I don't dig it. So no, I'm not being a hypocrite. And I can pick and choose what I want. And for me, there are certain characters that they get a pass for that. I liked to hear Punisher grunt. So when John grunts, that's new to me with the Punisher. And my favorite part in that scene was when he dove over to stop the guy. He dove over like a counter, and then he throws the knife to catch Cold North on the hand. Oh, that was so cool. That was super duper cool. So now I found it wild that, all right, no, I want to stick to this because I like this scene as well.
Cole, can I ask you a question on that scene since we're on that scene?
Go for it.
Did you find it odd during the fight scene? Because Daredevil that we know in all courses of everything that we've seen would have actually stopped fighting and stopped Frank Castle from killing. But he didn't. He was kind of okay with Frank killing those fanboys.
No, he wasn't okay with it. he
Yeah,
was too
yeah.
he was too busy fighting. So he didn't have time to stop Punisher and stop these cops, these fanboys that we call them. So going to that, I thought it was really cool when Daredevil stopped Punisher. He finally, they took a breath. He knocked out Cold North. He takes a breath and then he gets his composure. I'm talking about Matt. And then when Punisher was ready to let off, Daredevil stands in the way. Another great scene was when Punisher was like, "Hey, what about this guy? Is he worth it?" Bang, bang. It stays true to the character, and I absolutely loved it. That whole apartment scene was so cool, man. So cool. I found it odd that Punisher realized it was a grenade before Daredevil. Usually Daredevil can sense it faster. And I like the way the camera scene was, where they put us in the car where they were gonna land. They jump off the roof. Oh, the Billy Club is so cool, man. Like I really like that, the grappling and everything. And when they land, we're like in the car looking at the explosion that's going on. Pete, you think Cold North is dead?
Yeah, he should be. He
I
should
know.
be.
But this is the MCU, right? Anything could happen.
I
But
mean, I guess, but then you know what? Then bring Muse back too. I
I
mean,
like that.
if they're gonna keep it grounded, keep it grounded. This dude was in a there were two explosions in that apartment. Like
Mhm.
he should be dead. Let's hope it. They did it with Crossbones and from Winter Soldier. Then he shows up in Civil War, but I hope not. Let's keep. I know there's a story about Foggy in the comics where he faked his own death, went to witness protection. So most possibly probably coming back. But yeah, that's something that kind of turns me off when people don't stay dead. And I get it's a comic book world, but that's Bullseye's a different story because he has like Puma pointed out, he has an adamantium spine. So I don't, if that's the strongest metal in the MCU, unbreakable, then I get how he survived that fall.
Yeah. That
But if we're gonna start, this dude was in a double explosion, he should be dead.
so so next thing you know, there's lights and you hear the score from the Netflix original series, and it's Karen. I love that Matt said shotgun. Get it? Shotgun,
Yeah.
because Punisher rocks a shotgun. You think Karen, and I'm asking Pete, you think Karen plays a bigger part in all this with Matt, and as far as her being the piece to keep Matt grounded?
Well, she's got, look how he got when he woke up, from getting shot, and the first thing he said was Karen. Now I know Puma, how Puma broke it down made sense is that because
Yeah.
it's about the case with Foggy, but they're still, they do have history. He did save her back in the first season, and so they do have history together. So I don't think it's just that, but it does make sense that what Pooba said. But I think there's a little bit more to it. There are feelings there between the both of them because he said about he mentioned she
Yeah, because
mentioned her heart.
in episode one, she wanted to throw down with him.
Yes, the heartbeat thing
Yeah.
in this last episode. So yeah, she's definitely a big part going forward, which is like what Pooba said with the reshoots. She was brought back. I don't think they were gonna bring everybody back, and they brought Foggy back. They brought her back, and Punisher as well. So she definitely going forward, you'll see a lot more of her.
I feel like there's also a love triangle. You think that she has a love interest for Frank as well, and maybe she's conflicted? Because I do like the part that she's looking out for Matt and called Punisher, because Punisher was going to mind his business, but because he asked her, he came through for her.
She cares for him. You could tell she definitely cares for him as a person too. Whether it's the same way she sees Matt, like you said, I think when she was cleaning him up, and I think that's now that you talk about it, she was cleaning up Matt, and Punisher was cleaning up himself.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me says a lot. But does she care for Frank? Yes. But I think she's in love with Matt.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll finally get together. From what I understand, you know, in the comic books, Bullseye ends up killing Karen. So who's not to say that they're gonna like stick to that same program?
Kill
Hopefully.
Heather. Kill Heather.
I agree with you, Pooba. I'm with that. I'm definitely with that. um, so okay, let's talk about the most gory scene, of course, because Punisher now hears where the fanboys are, and he heads out to Red Hook to, you know, do Punisher things. Um, Uba, tell me about that scene with the back and forth of them showing Kingpin at the same time showing Frank Castle.
I think the show is trying to show the brutality on both ends, right? On the brutality on the vigilante side, where we're showing Frank Castle, and then we're showing Kingpin's power over Gallo in that scene with cops right in front of him too. Which while the scene was gory at its most, and I was like, man, just shoot him in the head. You didn't have to do something else. You don't have to do that.
You don't think the Kingpin was, because remember, they were all looking and cringing. So I think he was trying to make a point.
Oh, absolutely. I can do this to you. Like, you can't do this. You're not going to go as far as I'm willing to go. But I'm also not going to, again, he kind of like mind bends them in a sense and thinking that Gallo's the enemy here. He hasn't protected you. He hasn't done things for you. So, in their eyes, they go, we need a better leader, kind of a mutiny type of sense for the police force. But I mean, the brutality on both ends, the way Punisher was just taking those guys out and just going forward. And it was short for Frank Castle, the Punisher, at that moment, because there were just so many of them. One of the best visuals was when Frank was down and the row of the Punisher on the vests was right in front of him. I thought that was one of the most beautiful things to look at in the sense of
cool.
honoring this man. It was so cool just to visually look at that. But in the sense for Fisk, he's now ruling with an iron hand, and that is the only way he's going to move forward. Because again, there's always this conversation of there's a thin line between love and fear when you love someone and you fear someone. From the Bronx Tale, Sonny told, was said that the only reason why he prefers fear is because it lasts longer than love. And I think that's the same thing here, where Fisk is not looking to be loved. He loves New York City. He keeps saying, I love the city, but I don't want you to love me back. I want you to fear me. And I think that's what we saw in that Fisk scene. I mean, the way he crushed Gallo's head was crazy. I've never seen that on camera. Like, I've never seen human hand just crushing a skull. And again, I'm a horror guy, but never seen it in that manner. Because again, you can see where the jaw dislocated.
That was cool.
Again, just
it did visually. It looked great.
It looked great. Yeah, it looked great, but it was cringeworthy. Like, I know a lot of people was like, and looked away. I think my wife looked away when we were watching it together as well.
So did I.
Yeah. But Fisk coming onto the going there, and just like there's no what's it called? I was wearing the Metal Gear Solid shirts. I remember the task that you had to do to kind of be secretive, so you're not being seen and you're going wall to wall, kind of like what Daredevil does. Spider-Man does it very well. Punisher doesn't do that. He's coming through the front door, and that is like, of all the heroes in the world, I just never seen that. I seen all the heroes always play it kind of cool and sneak in, see what's going on first, recon. I mean, even Daredevil did the recon and wouldn't go in. Daredevil must have seen the same thing Frank Castle, the Punisher, must have seen the same thing that Matt Murdock saw that didn't make him go in. Punisher didn't care about that.
Didn't the Punisher stab someone in the groin?
Oh, he stabbed someone in the groin and still, while that was painful, still cut his throat. Like,
wow.
Yo, come on.
Wow.
Like, how far are you willing to go? But just, the resilience on both sides, the resilience for Fisk to do that right in front of cops. Very bold. There was a scene when the guy said Luke, when Gallo said Luke in the car, and again, it was a black guy with a bald head. For a minute, for a second, I was like, is that Luke Cage driving this car? Impossible. Or maybe Matt sent it for Gallo to protect Gallo, which would have been dope if he would have sent Luke Cage to drive that vehicle for Gallo. But again, it's just the tenacity on both ends to prove their point. Both Frank Castle and Wilson Fisk, just amazing how they want to prove their point so bad that they're willing to go to those type of ends. It was crazy. It's a crazy scene.
When Gallo said Luke, I said, "Oh my gosh, my prediction came true." And once I saw the Punisher tattoo on the neck, I said, "Oh man, they really hoodwinked me on this one. They got me really good."
Yeah. Like for a little bit, I got a tingle, and I was like, "Yeah,
yeah, me too. I ain't gonna lie.
I was like, when he said the tattoo, I was like, oh, swag.
Pooba, I do want to play with what you said with the love and fear. I think it's cool that you said that, and maybe everyone that's watching this can understand. Daredevil is the man without fear. That's what he goes by. So with Pooba's analogy of the love and fear part, and if you look at Daredevil being the man without fear, you can see where Matt or Daredevil himself stand in the line of justice. So I thought that was a great take, bro.
But that's the reason why Fisk and Matt bump heads so much, because Fisk wants to rule with fear, and Matt Murdock, I mean, showed up in the first episode, showed up at a he's coming out of something, and he showed up. Like, why does this guy not fear me? Because that's what, I mean, again, he mentioned how LaGuardia went against something, how people just go through things without fear. Like, I'm the guy that they're supposed to fear. This is LaGuardia's desk. They feared him. Fear, fear, fear. Again, he mentions that all they need is a little push to as a city. And I think because the man without fear can't give him that. Can't give him love, because that's not what Fisk wants. So I think that when in watching this whole season, it reminded me of the Bronx Tale on that quote.
That's a great take, man. A great take. I really like that. So Pete, we're hoping that the Punisher could take them all out, but they didn't. They ended up capturing him. I'm pretty sure that was Fisk's orders, right? Don't kill him. Just let's capture him, because as we can see, Fisk has a whole rogue of billionaires and vigilantes as they look like trophies and stuff like that, which really shows what Kingpin is all about. So let's talk about that scene with the fanboys and their bootleg looking Punisher skulls. I can't stand that part. But Frank and the interaction between the fanboys and Frank, did you enjoy that scene? And what did you get out of that, Familia?
Look, the same way when him and Matt met up for the first time, he said fanboys. Right there, I said, yeah, he don't respect these cats. He don't look at them as, he doesn't see it as he doesn't see it as a compliment. He sees it as, yo, these dudes are corny, they're jokes. He called them clowns to their faces. Zero respect, staying within character for the Punisher. And look, it's realistic that they did catch him. He was outnumbered. And look, let's not lose sight of the fact that he is just a normal guy. He doesn't have powers. He doesn't even have a unique ability like Daredevil. He's just a guy who's nuts and he has guns. And it was they kept it grounded, and it's something that goes back to, I forgot what Halloween movie. It was one of the later Halloween movies that came out recently. At the end, they're about to kill freaking Michael Myers. Ever since the 70s, this dude's been moving slow as shit. But when they're about to blow his brains out, he decides to become a ninja and kills like 10 people in like 3 seconds.
With no smoke.
No. So you see, so the parallels to that is, look, they kept it real with Castle. He's outnumbered. but Michael Myers all of a sudden became a freaking 8th-degree black belt and bodied like 10 people in 3 seconds. So that's the difference there. Like, yo, when I saw that, I was like, come on, yo. Now he does this, but Castle, no, he's outnumbered, regular man. They kicked his ass, and he ended up being captured, in the cage by Kingpin. And but yeah, I did enjoy that scene because same thing we discussed like with Invincible, and Puba knows because he's a Walking Dead fan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he delivers. So does Bernthal when he gets his camera time.
He
Pete,
said,
can I ask a question to Pete? Pete, were you shocked that they were asking him to join them?
Yeah, but not surprised at his answer.
well, he said, I wouldn't piss on you if you was on fire.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah, not surprised at his answer at all.
Anytime Frank talks, I'm listening. I'm paying attention. I want to hear everything he has to say. I like when he goes, look, you guys, you think you know my pain? And he's said that a lot of times. And every time he says it, it cuts deeper and deeper with me on, wow, I really don't know your pain. I don't understand. And I think the way Punisher is looking at these guys is like, yo, you got your families, you're good. Like, you're just doing this for show. I'm doing this because of the vengeance of what I'm going through, and I want to punish those that took my family away. So
Yeah, Cole, I agree with you. I think when Pete said he doesn't have a superpower, I think he does. His superpower is pain, because no matter amount of physical pain, right? Stabbed, shot, bleeding, almost dead. Like they were knocking his
gets
his
shot.
jaw must have been dislocated.
Yeah, he gets
Yeah.
shot.
But
Yeah.
his pain for losing his child is his superpower. And it's the reason why he can't get close to Karen either. Because if he gets with Karen, then the pain of his wife and his kid dying is kind of have to be put to the side. And
That's a great point.
his pain is bigger. Again, I think that's his. Like he remembers that "Get him, Daddy," that comment that he made to Matt in the whatever fort he's hiding in. Man, like I think about when you said it, his superpower. I'm like, man, he's right. But I think about his pain, like you said, Cole, and I think his pain is his superpower because that is more painful than any physical thing that they could do to him.
And let's not forget, he was a Marine as well. So he's very well trained with all the tactics that he uses. So bringing Punisher to the Daredevil series is just is great. I'm so happy again. We all are that all these guys are together and all these characters are together. Even though we lost White Tiger and we lost Muse, I'm still super excited to see where this is going to go. So, fellas, throughout the whole season, MCU is usually known for their post-credit or mid-credit scenes, and we didn't get one until we finally got one today. Hoover, I know you're very excited to talk about this, so I'm going to give it to you, my brother. What you thought about the post-credit scene, and what is your predictions for the future of this franchise?
So before we get to the post-credit scene, Cole, can we talk about Josie's bar real quickly?
Sure.
Like did you guys expect to see Jessica Jones there?
No.
Luke Cage at that bar?
No.
You guys didn't expect that at all?
No, not at all.
It's too easy to do that.
Yeah.
And my thing is this. They didn't hint at them at all, right? The whole series, they didn't hint at them at all. I know everybody, all of us would have wanted to see that and would have been okay with it. But I thought it would have been kind of cheesy to not mention them the whole time and then leave them for 2 seconds of screen time. I get it. Of course, we all want to see them back. But for me, it wasn't the right time.
And for me, what was more shocking about that Josie scene was that, it seems that whoever was in there, because there was multiple people in there, they know that Matt is Daredevil now, right? So where does the secret identity come in to play with this? I don't know, like that part right there. I get it. That I like the Josie bar thing. I think every hero should have a headquarters, and I'm okay with Daredevil having Josie's Bar as a headquarters, especially that is closed, so you don't got people coming in and out and stuff like that. But no, I didn't expect the Defenders to come. I mean, it would, like Pete said, it would have been nice, but I was more surprised that when Daredevil came out that room with Karen, those that were in that bar, I think they know Matt is Daredevil.
Well, that's okay. How far is Hell's Kitchen from Greenwich Village? They're next to each other, right?
From Greenwich Village?
Greenwich Village to Hell's Kitchen. They're next to each other, aren't they?
Nah, no.
A couple of train
Hell's Kitchen is
stops.
like in the 40s on the west side.
Well, the reason why I say that, because just go Doctor Strange, cast that Spider-Man spell all over again, and everybody forgets who he was.
No, not
No, we're not doing that. No, remember this show is very grounded.
Okay,
So,
yeah, I'm just saying. Listen,
so
just go
okay,
you know,
you say that, right? You say that. So there's a part now. So before we get to the post-credit scene, let's talk about when Karen and Daredevil was talking, right? There's a blackout. Now there were two actual blackouts in New York City. I was not there for both of them. One I was away, and then the other I was a baby, so I wouldn't even know about a blackout or not. But I did found interesting that because of all the lights in the city, you can never see the stars. And then you see Daredevil, when you see all the stars around him, maybe that's the MCU way of bringing in this supernatural galaxy to this grounded Earth. I don't know where they're going with this, but
I was looking for the Watcher when that was happening. I was looking, you know how they had the Watcher in the X-Men '97.
That would have been cool.
The skyline. I would have loved to kind of see a silhouette of the Watcher watching all this happen right now. I thought that would have been a great thing to kind of see.
I would agree with you on that. I would have loved that too. But I think the MCU is bringing in this kind of grounded superhero to a level where it stays grounded, right? Because you don't see Iron Man stopping a robbery, a bank robbery, or something like that. You see those street level heroes doing it. So who's not to say that eventually everything will come together? We all know that the multiverse is coming soon, and we will be reviewing that. But for me, that part right there, when I was watching Matt, I was thinking about that. Like, that is a good way to introduce cosmics with this grounded Earth. And then Puba, if they were to get your idea and just give you a silhouette of the Watcher, I would have been super satisfied with that for sure.
Are you guys okay with them continually showing New York City skyline and we still don't see Avengers Tower?
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
Oh man, I want to see that. Stop doing that. Like if you're showing the New York City sky, show Avengers Tower. Stop playing. Whatever it is now. I don't know if it's Avengers Tower. I know Thunderbolts will actually kind of give us more of that.
If you look at are you talking about like the full view of the skyline, or are you talking about just like
when they do the skyline, they never show it. They just never show it.
Yeah, but if they're showing the skyline, it's off in the distance. It's good, and it doesn't seem like it's a long shot of the skyline. It's just a skyline of New York City. It's going to be tough to say, oh my God, look at it right there. It's not the Statue of Liberty, because there's other tall buildings. There's the Empire State Building. You understand what I'm saying? That's not the only tall building in. It's not like the Needle in Toronto. It's not like like I said before, the Statue of Liberty. Those are things that are going to stick out. But it's another tall building.
It's a selfish ask. All I'm asking is a selfish ask.
It absolutely is. Yeah, you want everything. You want more, and they're like, we're only giving you 9 episodes. That's all you're getting, and you got to tune in next year for season 2.
And it's good to point that out, Puba, because you want it to be accurate. I totally get it, but it doesn't bother me whatsoever. It's I think overall, like phase 4, 5, and 6 has just been a cluster of things that even us comic book heads is not really getting it all together. I'm hoping for Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars to clean this up, and let's move on and go back to like phase 1, 2, and 3, where everything seemed more connected than ever. I think we've been spoiled with that. So I totally get it. I wasn't even looking for the Avengers Tower, to be honest with you.
Every time they show New York City skyline in Marvel, I'm always looking for that. I'm I'm the one guy going, okay. And you know what? Because it's in Spider-Man. It's in Spider-Man the game as well. So it's like it's a part of the big buildings. I get it. But it's a selfish ask. I get it.
That's cool. Nah, that's super cool. Well, so Puba, I know you want to talk about this. Let's talk about that post-credit scene.
Oh no, though you mentioned Red Hook, and we mentioned, and we know kind of that Vanessa was kind of using this to money launder her paintings and things like that. So it's a very museum type of thing that she was doing and using Red Hook because of the Freeport that it is. And I think at the end we saw that they want to continue this gallery because we're showing Fisk now not really loving the city or being a mayor to the city. We see him being a kingpin to the city, and he has the elite people with all this money, with the elite people in New York City. He has them like trophies.
There's still martial law going on, right?
Yeah, there's still martial law going on. So everyone has to stay home, right? For the most part during martial law.
8 p.m. is the cutoff.
Yeah. But he has these little like galleries, and it's a rogue gallery of people that thought Fisk couldn't be this because he had to deal with so much paperwork and red tape to get things done. Well, what if I just put everybody in a room that isn't on my train, and they no longer are a threat to me because they're in these cages? But the post-credit scene, forgive me when I'm saying this right now, but that guard was a pendejo. Like, 100%. What are you doing? Like, he deserved everything he got. Like, I wouldn't come close to this man with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't even get close. And
I'm not, well, Puba, I'm not surprised. I've went to the Bronx Zoo plenty of times. There are 2 fences, right? There's one fence, a cage for the animals, and then there's another fence for us not to even get close to them. So, if something's in a cage, metaphorically, I'm guessing that they're dangerous. So you're absolutely right. He got
yeah, because he asked
Punisher
him, do you
got
know
him.
who I am? Do you know this about me?
He kind of used that the fanboys showed the admiration to Punisher. He used that to his advantage.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. So you hit the nail on the head. So the last thing I was gonna say was just that, is that he knew that these guys idolized him. And I think he absolutely used the fanboy portion of it to get to like we're friends, we're cool, we're good people. You like me, you know who I am, right? You know what I do. You're good. Let me shake your hand, pendejo. It's like, for real, bro. Forgive me in speaking in Latin tongue here, but that guy was not a smart move at all. But it goes to show that that we're going to go into season 2, and while Poindexter is out and about and can go ham, we also have the opposite side of that where Punisher now is out and going to go ham because he's going to get out. Like, we know he's going to get out. Like, once I heard that guy's elbow snap, yeah. I mean,
you think Punisher is going to release the other people in there?
No, I don't think he would, because they would only get in the way of him trying to get out. Like, they're not, again, we talked about what Punisher does and the levels that he goes to. There's no way he's going to let people out to try to hinder him getting out, because he has to go ham to get out, right? And I hope that season 2 shows that. Again, give me 3 minutes of that. Give me 3 minutes of Punisher again, just going through like a hot knife through butter through these guys, getting out. There is Matt Duquesne, the swordsman.
Exactly. That's why I asked, just in case.
But I don't think he knows he's a swordsman, and he wouldn't care for fencing at all. It's not Punisher's thing. But no, I think he absolutely got out, of course. I don't think he let anybody else out. But I do think that he, in season 2, he actually gives the heads up to Matt, because he has Karen's number, so he can holler at her. And he lets Karen know who's down there. But like he said, I think they're going to need a team to get those people out of there, as much as Fisk has the police force as his own goons.
Awesome. Awesome stuff, Booba. All right, Pete. This season, I'm so happy that you were fulfilled, and it was, you really liked the entire series. Um, Talk to me about like future series with Punisher, Bullseye, Daredevil, Defenders, and do you think they will be involved in this Avengers Doomsday or Avengers Secret Wars movies?
I think they're gonna be involved. I think they're trying to match the same type of um hit that they had with Endgame and Infinity War. I think they're trying to match that. So go bigger. You know what I mean? And the only way to go bigger than those two movies is to bring everybody in. You already see if you see our video on the Avengers announcements, you see they brought everybody, mostly everybody back from the X-Men movies that were out from Fox. Um, so yeah, I do think I wouldn't be surprised if they were. Punisher's already have his own series coming out next year.
Awesome.
They're already working on they're already shooting season 2 of Daredevil will be March of next year. And I think it'd be uh, th- a massive loss for them if they do not include the Defenders. Look, they got Moon Knight out there. They got the Defenders out there. Like, what's the point of getting the characters' rights back if you're not going to use them? To me, this is the perfect way to plug them in. And they don't need their own series, but you can put them in Daredevil. The same way Puba called Civil War Avengers 2.5 or something like that. This could be the same thing. It's going to be it's Daredevil, but you can definitely include these guys. And you already included Punisher. Let's go. Let's go. Use these characters. You got the rights. You don't have to. Only character you don't have fully is Spider-Man and to some extent the Hulk. Use these guys. What's the point of having them if you're not going to use them? So yes to all those other questions, and I'm hoping so to that last question.
Pete, you excited for season 2?
Absolutely, because I think what I just discussed is what we're going to see, hopefully. I think
Hopefully.
everybody's kind of anticipating that and thinking that's going to happen. That,
Yeah.
we're going to see the defense. We're going to see Jessica Jones. We're going to see Luke Cage. And again, why not Moon Knight?
Correct. Because he
Oh,
is
oh, do
part
you
of
want to see
the
Spider-Man in season 2?
man, that would be great. I mean, like Pete mentioned before, Spider-Man and Kingpin had their quarrels. They've gone back and forth as well to bring Spider-Man in. Shoot, I'll forget it. I'll be super excited. But I'm not gonna get my hopes up at all for that. I'd rather it be a surprise to me. But for me, I'm not even thinking of that. I'm more concerned about seeing actually Iron Fist, Luke Cage, aka Power Man, Jessica Jones, and these guys, coming all back together, which I think that'll be a lot of fun, a lot of fun. And I'm also curious to know what other villains would they incorporate, having still Bullseye out there, Kingpin, of course, and the Punisher jumping in. How far are they going to take this?
And they
So
can
I'm
use little
excited.
Angela on season 2 to be White Tiger.
They can definitely
Don't
work on
forget
that.
that.
We spoke about
Yeah,
that as far as, but I think that's going to be more towards a Avengers.
a young Avengers probably.
That is correct. Yeah, that's more or less what I was thinking. So for me to conclude, I just want to let you guys know that this was a this whole series was just a setup. And that's why I felt like there was a beginning, a middle, and then it just stopped there, right? That's why I can't wait for season 2, because I feel season 2 is going to be a conclusion. Given that the title is called Daredevil Born Again, since I seen Daredevil have his own show, Born Again to me felt more like, he's here and he's just going to do justice. But actually, looking back at the entire series, it was not only Daredevil, but Kingpin was born again. And now I totally get everything when using the title Born Again means that this is the introduction. So I'll give it to those that never seen Daredevil. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For those that have seen Daredevil before, I hope you guys enjoyed this series. We had a lot of fun covering it. I thought it was great. Even Muse hijacked our show for a little bit. Matt, Kingpin, they all came through, and I want to thank all you guys for hanging out with us. If you haven't, please subscribe, like, comment. We're willing to answer any questions, and we will be covering more stuff. And please let us know of anything that you would like for us to cover, and we'll see if we could get on that as well. For my brother Pete and my brother Puba, I'm your boy Cole, and have a good night.
We will return.
The worst episode ever.